company he contacted. One hiring manager called Manuel to thank him for the heads up about Wang's history. Wang couldn't even get interviews at places desperate for workers. A month into his parole, Wang was supposed to be home by 8 every night, but he got turned around trying to avoid watch members who happened to be out walking their dogs on his usual route. He didn't get home until 8:40, and his parole officer had already called twice. The officer gave him an official warning and told him one more violation would send him back to finish his full sentence. That night, Wang's sister showed up at my door crying and begging us to leave them alone. She said Wang had learned his lesson and just wanted to move on with his life. Rania was there for our meeting and looked the sister right in the face. She told her our children learned lessons too about what happens when people in power don't care if they live or die. She said Cecilia still wakes up screaming about zip ties and vans. She said the other parents have kids who won't sleep without checking the locks over and over. Wang's sister said it wasn't fair to punish him forever, but Rania asked her if she thought 18 months was fair for almost letting 3 little girls disappear forever. Wang's sister left crying that night, but 6 weeks later her brother made our job easier when his ankle monitor showed him walking past Jefferson Elementary at 2:30 in the afternoon. He claimed his GPS glitched and he was actually 3 blocks away at the gas station, but the parole officer pulled the security footage from both locations, and Wang was clearly visible walking right along the school fence while kids were getting out. The parole violation hearing took 15 minutes, and the judge sent him back to finish his full 18-month sentence with no possibility of early release this time. Stefan texted us from the prison that Wang looked broken when they brought him back in, and the other inmates were already talking about the child endangerer who couldn't stay away from schools. We met at my house that night and everyone was quiet, but satisfied because we'd bought ourselves another year to make sure Wang could never hide what he'd done. Manuel started working with a private investigator to create a detailed file on Wang, including court transcripts and victim impact statements that we could send to any employer or landlord who might consider giving him a chance. Valerie wrote more articles about police negligence without naming Wang directly, but including enough details that anyone could connect the dots if they searched for officers imprisoned in our state that year. Meanwhile, Cecilia was finally sleeping through the night again and had started making friends at the school, including a girl named Maya, whose family just moved here from Texas. She didn't know anything about Wang or what we were doing because I kept all watch meetings at other houses now and made sure she never overheard our phone calls. The therapist said she was making great progress and might not need weekly sessions much longer, which made me cry with relief in the parking lot after our appointment. 8 months into Wang's second stint in prison, the civil suit against the city finally settled for an amount that would cover Cecilia's therapy and education, plus damages for the trauma she endured. The settlement documents became public record, and for the first time, Wang's full name appeared in official paperwork connected to the case because the city had to list him as the officer whose actions led to the lawsuit. Valerie made sure the settlement got coverage in 3 different news outlets, and suddenly Wang's name started appearing in Google searches, linked to child endangerment and police negligence. By the time Wang finished his full sentence 14 months later, his reputation was destroyed everywhere within a 100-mile radius of our town. The private investigator